Hey, hello, folks. Hello, folks. Good afternoon. Yes, I'm on and about today in the city. Boy, it is hot outside. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hope you guys can hear me. I did bring the. Oh, my mic is on this side. Okay. Yeah, I have the mic on. It's very lively out here in the city. This live stream, today is June 21, 2020, and it's about maybe 12:45 p.m. So it's a little bumpy here. I'll get smooth shortly. All right? Okay. Yes, and I have my little dog, my pack with me. Let me show you my pack. It's hard to see. The sun is really bright. Yeah, those are little pumpkins. There's little Lily, little lilac there being squished, and little Lavy boy. Yeah, let's see what they look like. They look so cute. Yes, that's a lot of police activity here. Let me turn around the camera. Yeah, the sun is really hot. I'm gonna walk on the other side of the street. It'll be cooler for the dogs. Yeah, this side of the street is really sunny. I don't want the dogs to get overheated. Yeah, dogs have more common sense than some people. My dogs go to the shade when they go out. Yeah, so I'm just crossing the street now. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, great. Yeah, how you doing? We have some viewers here. Good afternoon. I hope it's all yes. Okay. You look. Oh, thank you. In spiritual. Okay. Yeah. Let me get. I want to see if I can get my glasses. It's hard for me to read the comments. I hope I brought my glasses. Yeah, I did my hair a little different. Oh, I think I got my glasses. Hold on.
How you doing?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I got my glasses so I can read the comments. I'm trying to feel a little better. Oh, good. Hi, Tommy. Yeah, long time no see. Put my stuff. Sorry, just putting stuff away. Yeah, it's good to see you. Yes, I'm out and about with my little dogs. Yeah, so I'm good now. So I got my glasses so I can read your comments. I love reading your comments. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Uh, Today's talk is going to be general, um, but still focus on the current black issues in this country. When I was leaving my building, I was leaving my building, and I have my dogs in this carrier, and this particular, I live in a building that has a concierge. All the people who, virtually all except for one, is a non-Hispanic. They're all from like the Caribbean, and the non-Hispanic, he's from Africa, West Africa. They generally do very, very good work. Stuff, yeah. Okay. So I just can't understand certain behaviors. So this is what happened. I'm, I have this carriage and it's a heavy, heavy door. And so he's, I mean, there is a big desk. So he may not be able to readily see that I have the dogs in the carriage. And the door is heavy to exit. So he had to put something down and he's seeing me. And so I stopped to get his attention, and he kind of looks down. He sees the carriage with the dogs in it. He says, "Oh, so what do you want?" I said, "Oh, could you please open the door for me?" So then he says, "Oh, well, yeah, of course. I was going to open up the door for you. My biological family bloodline." Okay. So I'm a little confused. No, he opens the door. Now, if he was really going to open the door, so why ask me what I want? Okay? If I wanted to say so, I wouldn't have to wait. I mean, he's looking. He's not responding. See, I'm having the carriage out, and I want to let him know, I wanted to see if he was going to take the initiative to open the door. Because I felt that if I didn't say anything, he would have me trying to pry open the door like before. And then, let me get the door. You see, I have the stuff there. There's no one else around. So he cannot say I was busy working on someone, helping someone. He wasn't on the phone or anything. But he's not taking that initiative that opened the door. So it just got me a little bit irritated. But I thanked him. I said, I'm just going out, going to go to the park, and try to kind of smooth it over how it really felt. Now, I don't think a white person would have to ask him or have any doubt that he's not going to open the door. You know what I'm saying? And this was the same concierge that this happened, I think, last year. I had my dogs with me on a leash. I didn't have the carriage. And I see him at the door. I could see him. And I know at one point he saw me at the door. And my hands were full. And he's not responding. And then a very young female, I forget what her race was. It's more of the color. A white complexion, straight hair. Okay. She either was an East Asian or Caucasian. I forget. But in my building, the two are pretty much synonymous, whether you're a white female or East Asian female. They're treated the same. And I think even more so, treated better if you're an East Asian because you generally have more money, or parents have money. So guess what happens? She had all of a sudden appear behind me, this woman, pale-skinned woman. Guess what he does, the concierge? Oh. He runs over to the door and he pushes open the door. Everybody's popping today. So then he pushes open the door and he apologizes profusely. Okay? So what happened there? Well, what happened was he saw me, and he doesn't have to. Oh, hi, how you doing, Steph? Show Fatim Bay. Yes, hello. See, your comment was retracted. But either way, So what did happen? Well, he saw my face, and again, I never had any problem with him, but he doesn't feel he has to work for me. But when he sees a little Asian face or a little white face, that that there's a different system at play. And that's what my issue was with him. It bothered me greatly. Okay, he apologized, but why? Who was he really apologizing to? Wasn't me. Okay, I don't want to have to second guess. How you doing? Oh, that's nice. I don't want to have to second guess a doorman whether he's going to open the door for me or not. And I feel that if I say something, I'm going to be perceived as a troublemaker. Okay? I know the super, I know of him. He is what he is. Are men afraid to talk to you? I don't know what you mean. Please explain, Bay. Why would you ask if a man is afraid to talk to me? That's interesting. I just want to know. No, if you're referring to the concierge, they're not afraid to talk. What's happening is that they are socially conditioned to respond one way when someone's at the door versus another person. That's what I'm getting at. It's not about men or women. How you doing?
Oh, look at those.
Yeah. How you doing? Yeah, it has nothing to do with gender. It's about racism and systemic racism. I'm sorry, I still listen. I just have to get my black and okay. I don't know what I couldn't read everything there. But so what's the problem? How do you guys? You may seem intimidating to the very interesting. I don't think so, but that's an interesting thought. These men are an intimidating type. Hey, how you doing again? No, I'm very quiet spoken, and I don't dress intimidating.
That's nice.
How you doing? Thanks. And I don't think I'm dressed very intimidating. Not at all. These are confident men that work the desk. Started so I could. Okay. I'm trying to read your comments. Yeah, so it's just a little frustrating. So any of you guys, when you get when you get to this part of the video, when it uploads, let me know how do you think I could approach the issue. Because see, I don't want to offend and make it worse for me. But because the people, the concierge is someone who's demonstrated foolishness in the past. And so it's just sticky. So either way, are you all right? Yeah, oh yeah, of course I am. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. But it's just a matter of when you see things that on the surface look like a certain type of thing. And historically, if you bring up something of a racial issue, that they get offended, and then there's a problem. So how do you handle it without looking sensitive? Okay, because Historically, if you're a black person and you point out something, you're told that you're sensitive and they don't want to associate with you anymore, etc. Oh well. So let's say what else. Earlier today, yesterday was the first day of spring. I thought it was. Yeah. Hello, spring. Hello, spring. I mean, not spring. Today, yesterday was the first day of summer. I meant to say. Yes. Hello, summer. Hello, summer. Hello, summer. Yes. And it feels like summer right now. Yes. It is very hot. It feels very hot. It feels like it's in the 80s, in the mid to upper 80s. And I'm in the shade right now, and it's still very hot. Okay. Bye. Yes. Bye bye. Let's see. Yeah. So happy summertime, you all. May we have a safe summer. And I don't know how we're going to be doing our exercise and stuff. I don't have my mask on right now. In my building, when I'm going through the lobby, to exit or enter, I have to have a face covering. So I put on my scarf. I'm okay with that. And then when I'm out here, I just take it off. Yeah. I hear that the, what do you call it? The rate of corona allegedly is increasing in Florida. But you know what they fail to say? See, they say that, okay, they're doing a lot of testing. And anyone could have an antibody. You're living on this planet, you're going to have something in your system because you're all exposed to stuff. But exposure doesn't mean contamination, that you're sickly, you know? So they say, people, there's the more cases of coronavirus, but they don't say whether they are symptomatic. Anyone can have anything, and as you've heard, that the tests that are given to determine the virus is 80%, it gives 80% false positives, okay? 80%. I can take something that's maybe 1 or 2% error, but 80% error? So this is a problem. This is a very big problem. So, so if this coronavirus is so deadly, then how come they allowed those protests, right? And how come the people in office are walking around, many of them without masks? And then I heard that Trump's, people who work under, with Trump, that 6 of them tested positive for corona. Okay? So what does that mean? And I've never seen Trump, sorry, I've never seen him with a face mask, ever. Never. So I don't understand it. If something is so tricky, how come they don't have a face mask on? Now, I don't have a face mask because I choose not to have it. But I'm not in any task force and telling people what they should wear or not wear. If you feel that it's going to protect you, wear it. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, let me just cross the street here. Wow, I'm almost at the park, almost reached it. Oh, good, I got the shade now. I'm sorry. Something is tickling my nose. It feels like just something like here on the side of my nose. Okay, so I don't understand about this pandemic. I really think it's a front. So people now it's summertime. Yesterday was the first day of summer. So I don't know how any flu or cold virus is going to survive in 80 plus degree weather. Okay. Hey, where are you walking? Yeah, I'm walking through. I'm walking to Central Park. Yes, I am with my little pets, my little babies. You know, I have my wagon that I put my dogs in. Yeah, they don't. The two girls don't like walking in the heat, especially the Shih Tzu. My little boy, he's pretty good, but I just keep them all in there. And I think when we come back, uh, I'll have, I'll give them a little leg room. You know, I'll take them out of the carriage, and we'll exit out of the park. Okay. Yeah. So what did I want to talk about now? Yeah. So when I turned on my device to talk, I wanted to talk about also, you know, racial issues. I was listening to, sorry, I was listening to videos on Malcolm X. Imagine. Now those videos, or his speeches, I should say, was the ones that I saw was done in 1963. This year that would make it 57 years ago. Just a moment. Imagine. Yeah. Hello, here's my friend getting your exercises. Yeah, yeah, Thomas. Yeah, I have my babies. Let me show you them. That's the crew. Say hello, guys. Yeah, that's them. And you know, someone had offered me their stroller. It's a dog stroller. Now, this is a shopping cart, a regular shopping cart, but it does its job. But yes, someone offered me theirs in my building just yesterday when I was coming home. If it works, and now I'm limited space in my apartment. Yeah, this thing that I have out, I leave it outside now. I usually have it in the closet, but because I want to use it for the dogs, I I just leave it out. But I'm limited space. But hey, if this thing really works, so I can keep it set in my shopper cart for getting groceries or other type of purchases. I'd rather keep it separate. So so dogs with dogs and food with food, you know. But you use your limited space. You use what works. Thank you. Yes, I'm just about to enter the park. Okay. Oh, it's nice shade right now. Okay. I'm officially in the park. Yay! A lot of people. Yeah, so like I would say like half of the people have their mask and the other half don't. Yeah. So, um, just thinking now. Oh, so what I want to talk about, yeah, I almost got distracted there. Well, I was watching some old footage of some of the speeches from Malcolm X. His last name was Shabazz, or Shabazz. But interesting how the X uh, just stuck on him. But he did get a last name. But either way, Malcolm X Shabazz, or Shabazz, it was done in 1963. And what I thought was interesting was what he was talking about. He said either die or vote or, how do you say it? Either you vote or you get shot or something. I forget. But what he's really saying is the current climate. You have a choice to make. Which choice you're going to make? Yeah, because it was, I guess, election time approaching. So I thought it was really relevant what he was talking about. And the ballot, oh, that's it. Thank you, Bay. Thank you for reminding. Thank you. The ballot, thank you. I'll see someone corrected me. The ballot or the bullet. That's right. Thank you so much. I couldn't remember. Yeah, I listened to that speech, and it was really interesting. He also talked about, as he calls it, the white liberals. Oops, sorry, camera got turned. Yeah, he talked about the white liberals. And so I thought everything what he talked about was as if he's addressing.
One, but three.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Where I usually go, let me see here. Trying to see where I can go. Oops, sorry. I want to find a spot where I can go. Yeah, I can go where I went yesterday. Okay. To go up and around. Yes, sorry about that, guy. Yeah, I'm trying to navigate where I want to park this. I want to find a nice spot where I could go. Let me just get my bearings here. Where should I go? I can go over there. I want to go a little further. Oh, that looks like a spot over there. Yeah, it's hot. My dogs would not be able to do this heat for long. Yeah, it is real hot. Just take a sec. Okay, just crossing the street here. Wow. Okay, it's going to be bumpy again. Oh. Yeah, I like to be spontaneous. I know this is really spontaneous doing this, but it'll just take me a few minutes now. Yeah, here's a nice shade. Yeah, I found the spot. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna go right there. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you this where I found. Is that? Right there under the shade. Another tree there. So it's going to be right at this spot right there. Yeah, hey, how you doing, Cox? Yeah, I'm doing good. This is just going to take me a few seconds. I have to put down my phone so I could put this mat down on the floor. Just take me a moment. Yeah, just take me a moment. Okay, let me get the dogs out. Okay, I'll get you out, Lavin. Oh, oh wow. I'll get this one out first. Sorry, Lala. Uh, see, they're getting tangled with the cord. I mean, the leash. Okay, I got an idea. I'm sorry, baby girl. Oops. Okay. Oh, I got the lilac out. Okay, just a moment. Let's take a few seconds. Oh, I have to put the leash on her. Still getting almost done, folks. It just take me a moment. Wow, you got tangled, boy. You got really tangled. I'm sorry. Oh, guys. Brother. Oh, God, you got time. Let me just take. Sorry. Sorry, Lily. Lavin. Lavin, you all tangled. You got all over Lily. Brother. I'm still trying to get them untangled, folks. I apologize. I apologize. Oh, boy, it gotta be an easier way with this. Yeah, see, these are my babies, and you should, you have people who, let me wait a minute. They leave their little pooches home all alone. These are my family. You know, and they have feelings, and so I don't want to leave them behind. Okay, I got one more dog. Come on, Lavin. Oh, oh, brother. Okay. Sorry. Uh, oh, sorry about that. Oops. The orientation got messed up. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It gotta be an easier way. So let me just get. I used to put my paraphernalia. Got the can, my glasses, the dog's water. So the bottled water. Gotta get my water now. This is hard work. I mean, I commend you ladies who have the human babies and you got that big stroller and you have to go on the subway with it. More power to you ladies. More power to you. Okay, so then I use this thing lying down. See that? Because the dogs run, it'll knock it over. Lavin. Let's get on. Let's get on the blanket. Wow. Oh, just about done. Oh, God. Wow. Yes, but you can check out YouTube, Gather 144. There is some great information. I think you'll, okay. Thank you for, yeah, each one teach one. Yeah, I am, yes, I call my channel Spirit Journey. I have not arrived. I'm far from arrival, okay? I'm far from that. But I would say I'm coming to different types of awarenesses, okay? Yeah, look at my little girl. Yeah, I'll get you water. Gather 144 is the page. Okay, we were all trying to get the, yeah, I'm so far from arrival. Yeah, that's why I call it Spirit Journey. Let me put this down for a sec. Right. Okay. Yeah, so now I can multitask. Yes. Yeah, you heard a little bark? Yeah, see, it's fun to go out because your little four-legged friends they need to get out too. They get stressed. When I'm stressed, I know they get stressed too. Okay, I put the water out here for you. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Let me move this back. Wow. I like this. I like this. Take my boots off. Yeah. Yeah, the ballad or the bullet. People with dogs actually live like. Oh, nice. Nice. That's pretty good. That's very encouraging to me. Yeah, they're really nice. They're really nice to have. Uh, yeah, they are unconditional. Sometimes I get angry and cranky, but I say, these are really important. How are you? Might be. Oh, I'm doing okay, Willie. Yeah. How are you doing? Yeah. So my dog is like getting the big gulp. I need more than I need tender. Oh, okay. Okay, Cox. Yeah. Oh, let me put. Oh, wow, they drank it all already. Ah, that's good. I'm glad you're doing good, Rivers. Let me get more water for the dogs. Fill it up. Yeah, I give them filtered water. Yeah, we all drink filtered water. Yep. Okay, you get your water here. Yes, have to move it off the mat because if they spill it. Yeah. Okay. Ah, that's good. So everything's out in order. I have the can for my little boy because he likes to bark at other dogs. And I'm going to grab the leash so that when that time comes, he won't pull on anything. Okay, come on. Come, you get on the mat. You get on the mat. Yeah. Oh, come on, you got it. Yeah. Okay. Wow, so that didn't take too long. I apologize for that, but if they're not settled, I'm not settled. I have to get them situated, and they'll be fine for a couple of hours. Okay. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so what I want to talk about now, I was just discussing about Michael Max, and um, what did I want to talk about with the video entitled the Ballad or the Bullet that a viewer just reminded me the actual name. Um, what do you do? What was being discussed was so current of today. We go to the ballot, and what happened back, this is 57 years ago. That video was done in 1963, and nothing has changed. Nothing. Um, you do have a lot of, I've been told by some members of the community, if you don't vote, you're like a sellout because our ancestors sacrificed their life, blah, blah, which is true. But who do you have to vote for? That's my issue. And someone so poetically mentioned not too long ago, so it's not my words, it's not my ideas, but uh, they put into my awareness. If they don't respect, if they don't respect your life, they don't respect your vote. You can't have one without the other. So they can tell you, oh, you got to vote, you got to do this and that. Voting does not protect your life. On paper, it can protect your life. But who wants paper? You want action. Like, talk is cheap. You want the actual, you want it real. And I see that it's not real anymore. That they made me think. Now, I did vote in the last presidential election, but, there wasn't much of a. Thank you. Yeah, but it wasn't much of a choice. No, there was no choice really. But I voted the way I voted, and the next election, what is it going to be? I'm sorry, I just get distracted there. Yeah, so how is this next election for 2020 in November, how is this going to be different than the election in 19, was it 1964? Or 19, oh no, it's 19, yeah, 1963 I think it was, I forget. Um, what happened? What happened? Um, Nothing really changed for the black vote. Um, our votes are being used um, effectively for the winning side. It seems like the black vote in America is the deciding vote on who wins, whether it be Republican or Democrat. How does it swing? And once they get your vote, that's it. You only hear from them when it is election time. And so 2020, the year 2020, it's the same thing. And so my listening to Malcolm X, Malcolm Shabazz, 57 years has passed since those speeches. And I'm wondering if he were alive today, who he would vote for, if he would vote, and would he have achieved a separate but equal, well, I shouldn't say, excuse me, a, a territory of his own. You know, the Nation of Islam, they discuss about, you know, many things, but they have not achieved a territory of their own. I mean, outside of the actual property that they possess. But it was recent, it could have been last year, that I saw a video of theirs. He was a separatist. Okay, Malcolm X was a separatist? Yeah, Malcolm X did not want to integrate. But, but with the Nation of Islam, they mentioned that, oh, okay, thank you for clarifying, Bay. They mentioned that they lost the land and the money, that the government seized their property and their money, but then they want more money. Now, how I feel, okay, when you're going to ask for Malcolm changed his views shortly before his death. Okay, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, yeah. Um, when, I, when the Nation of Islam mentioned that, so how are you supposed to protect? If you can't protect your own property, if that institution, well, I think it's over 80 years old. The what's it? Could it be over 90 years old? The Nation of Islam? Yeah. Someone, please let me know. We have a lot of knowledgeable people who listen to my channel. If those people who know, could you please tell me how old the Nation of Islam is? That institution. I know it's over 80 years old. So please let us know if those of you who know, or you can go on your internet and just check it out real quick and then type in the chat how old the institution is or when it got established. Uh-uh. Sit down, chill out. Yeah, poor baby. Oh, 31. Okay. Yeah, could anyone else verify? 1931, so that will make it, um, let's see. Let's see, my mother turned 30. So that is almost, um, oh, what was that? Almost 90. Yeah, about 80, 88, 89 years. That's still an old institution. But I say the word old not in a pejorative sense, okay? You know, I'm not trying to be pejorative. Um, Now, that's a long time for anything to be established in this country. So, how are you supposed to um, lead, how are you supposed to protect? If you cannot protect your money and your property, they started after the assassination of the Nobel Drew Ali. Okay, 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 thank you. So I'm not even familiar with that person. Yes, see, each one teach one. I have to look up that name. Um, so I have a problem if someone's going to be a leader. I mean, anything can happen to anybody. Anything could happen to me. It doesn't mean that you're not a valid person to listen to, but I would have a problem to give you more of what I have, to give you money or money so you can buy land or you can give you land because it's going to be taken away. And then I get confused that, see, in one of his videos on their channel, not their channel, their website, that they have these spaceships, and that if anything happens to Louis Farrakhan, that they'll call on this spacecraft, and that they will wipe out everybody. Now, though, I mean, when he mentioned that, I said, "Boy, this is a bold fellow." I mean, I couldn't believe that. This was maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I watched that on their website. I forget the name. It's a part of a series. It's a long series. And he mentioned some very controversial subjects, and one of them about the UFO connection, and that their leader is living on the spacecraft. So it's really interesting. So is this part of the secret space program? You know, they don't talk a lot about it in public. I mean, that's on their website. And I listened to it myself. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't hear it. So how come their God is not being, yeah, how come their God is not coming down to save the lives of those recent black people who got killed? Why is the God of the Nation of Islam twiddling their thumbs to protect? And their God, the God of the Nation of Islam, is not protecting the property of the Nation of Islam. Money and their land was confiscated by the government, they say. So why even be an institution? Where does their power come from? What is their purpose? And they say that they don't carry weapons. Why don't they carry weapons? So I don't understand. I'm just confused. Malcolm X was not. I don't want to say that he was against um, Martin Luther King Jr., but they had different philosophies. Okay, I'll put it that way. They had opposing philosophies on how they want to achieve certain things. So if Malcolm X, he says, you know, an eye for an eye. So how could you how could you fight the good fight of an eye for an eye if you don't have weapons? This is something that I need to understand. And if anyone from that organization is watching this video, if you can please add insight to this conversation. I don't understand how someone could, such as Malcolm X, and Malcolm X always said in the words of uh, the respected Elijah Muhammad. So if he's saying his words and not his own, how is he expected to achieve his goals without having weapons and to know how to use them, you know, and when to use them? And if this Elijah Muhammad is on a spacecraft, how come he hasn't revealed himself to the struggling black folk in his organization or the general black population? So these are just questions that I have. That's it. There was other things. Yeah, nothing really has changed. There was something else I noticed. See, interesting, like with the Nation of Islam, okay, Islam is not in favor of homosexuality. Again, this is not an anti-homosexual um, speech or anything like that on my behalf. I'm just mentioning about, you know, what you choose, the lifestyle you choose to live is your business. It is your business, and I don't think people should be beat up because they favor an adult of the same gender and that they like them, that they both love each other. That I have nothing against that. You know, it's a lifestyle I don't choose for myself, but if someone wants to choose that for themselves, that is their business. But I question, though, how homosexuality in the black community, how does it fit? Does it help or does it hurt? Um, how are you going to build a future and a community if everybody is, okay, I'm from Chicago, so I am familiar with the mosque, Mariam. They do teach Fruit of Islam arts. Okay, okay. Thank you for, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so they were just saying that they do teach martial arts. Fantastic. That's very good. Okay. Um, but as it pertains to homosexuality in the black community today, um, how do you word this? Uh, at least there was no open homosexual that spoke on behalf of the Nation of Islam. Um, I haven't seen that. So the people that they had represent them or to be the mouthpiece for that organization, they were married men with children, or they eventually got married and had a family. However, in the opposing side, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the people in his inner circle was problematic. Um, King had people under his wing. I think he was, he needed to, um, not scream, but he needed to really know who is amongst him. Uh, they had, his organization, his circle was infiltrated. He had, um, I, I don't remember the name, but he had a man, an older man working, you know, under his wing. He served like an advisor. He was an older person to King, and it turned out that he was a practicing homosexual, and that he was used to temper Reverend King's approach to the civil rights movement. Uh, when it was suggested possibly being more forceful, the guy under, you know, this man, this older man, uh, convinced him not to, and to have a peaceful approach to this civil rights movement. But him being peaceful did not save his life. He lasted until, when did he, okay, Elijah Muhammad did sit down with MLK before his death. That's why he got more radical. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think towards the end of his life, King, that he was going to possibly hook up with the Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and run for the president and vice president presidential seat. I don't know whether that's true, but it, it was told to me recently. Again, I don't know. So if anyone knows whether they were going to run for the Democrat um, presidential and vice presidential seat, Kennedy and King, and when that was coming about, he was to do another, he called it a civil unrest for the labor union for the sanitation people who do sanitation, the sanitation truck drivers. And when that occurred, they said that's really why he was stopped when he was infiltrated the union. Again, I don't know. I mean, I think King had so many enemies. It's a shame that, see, when you're peaceful, I think in America, when you're a so-called peaceful person, it's perceived as weakness, and they want to hurt you anyway. So it's like you don't win, you don't win. Uh, but I think having this guy under King, that he was not an asset. See, when he goes home at night, he's not going home, this person that infiltrated his organization. He didn't go home to a woman and children. He went home with another man. And he was with white, he got caught in a car doing, and he was arrested for doing lewd acts with other men. And I don't think they were black men either that he was with. And again, your sexual preference as it pertains to race is your business also. Okay? Who you're in bed, what adult you're in bed with, regardless of race, religion, nationality, or even orientation, is your business. Just make sure that the other party knows what you're, what you're all about. To hide things from people, I'm not about that. Be upfront about what you are. And so the other person, so each other, what each other is about. So I felt that to be a conflict of interest because King is a Baptist minister, and that lifestyle is against his belief system, right? So let's say if he's with other women, the act of fornication is a sin also. But yes, we've all heard that King was in compromising positions with other women. So that's not right either. Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. Um, but should he have gotten killed for it? Uh, I don't think he should have gotten killed for, if his wife wants to handle it, But it, the the aggression that was put upon King was excessive, and it was wrong for them to murder him like that. Um, but again, getting back on track with what I'm really trying to get at, you have an organization, and I don't think that King and the other people in the circle knew about this man's practice. So I think that with the homosexuality, black male homosexuals are, I feel, could hamper the black movement because their allegiance, who is their allegiance to? If who they're messing with behind the scene, their so-called enemy, they had surveillance of King hanging from. Okay, I heard about that. And again, some people are set up. And I was in the military, and in boot camp, they part of our indoctrination, they tell us that you have European women that are being used to target the black men. And so whether it's a Scandinavian, woman from Norway or Eastern Europe, it's all the same thing. It's to get you in a compromised position so they can use against you. Okay? So, you get any man, and you're going to have a woman that's available, and you're away from your wife, and you're under a lot of stress. I think a lot of men would have done the same thing. And again, maybe they gave him some alcohol, and sometimes when people do mind-altering drugs, they do things that they wouldn't normally do. So I'm sure that if that happened, I don't think it would have, he wasn't looking for it, okay? And it was used against him. So I think, though, as a movement, that to have someone who is in the alternative lifestyle, that your allegiance can be compromised, and so your strength and your power is really hindered because the fear of people finding out, especially 57 years ago, um, the fear controls people. Um, and again, how does it build a community having that type of lifestyle? It's a lifestyle that's really separate from everyone else because you cannot reproduce. I mean, yes, you can do artificial insemination, um, but is that really a method for community building? There was something else. I had taken I had to take an English class in college, and we had to read. Oh, what's his name? I'm awful with name. I really apologize. It'll come to me. But he was a famous black writer. Oh, Baldwin. James Baldwin. And he was um, celebrated in the this English class that I had. But what they didn't say was that he was a homosexual man. So my question is, in today's society, how come, or how is it that when they celebrate a black man, how come he's never a straight black man? How come he's often a homosexual? So you have Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. being manipulated and told not to tap onto his maleness and to be a pacifist. But if you look at the gay movement, a lot of those guys are very violent, right? So they're going to be violent for their own movement, but they want you to be pacifist. Okay, I don't understand that logic. Again, it's your behavior. You know, it's what lifestyle you choose is your business. So it's not an anti gay sentiment, but just I don't understand it. So you're going to infiltrate a straight black man's organization and tell them to be passive, to say, you know, let's be friends, let's be neighbors, let's integrate. But in your movement, you use a lot of aggression, a lot of physical violence. Okay, but yes, going back to James Baldwin. Um, He's a writer. He's a famous writer, and he was exiled out of the U.S. Um, I've never read literature from. Okay, we must separate from Europeans. We have to go to the world courts to get what we own, get our. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe that we should go to the United Nations, or what they call the World Court, to address the issues of inequality for blacks in America. And I say that specifically also. You notice I don't say the word minority or people of color because we have plenty of minorities and people of color in the United States, but not everybody who's a minority or a person of color, a black person. And so the black movement is being diluted by other groups. Now, not to say that the other groups' concerns are not valid, but I'm tired of blacks getting concerned with, including the so-called greater minority, and when they get into positions of power, they never seem to hire you, a black person. They're all about themselves. Now, there's nothing wrong being pro-self and being pro your race or religion, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But if someone helped you and it was assumed that we were all one in the collective, and then once you get what you want, you know, it's like you eat your meal and then you don't pay the check and you just skip town. So I have a problem with that. So with James Baldwin, um, how come in the school system. Now, I went to a local school here. I went to City University of New York. I went when I had that class. That was in Hunter College, in Manhattan, and Hunter College was considered a very good college. But my concern is in a curriculum in a school and to not read any literature of a straight black man. The homosexual community is a small community, but how come they dominate the educational system? That's another question. So they're not being discriminated against. It sounds like, or it seems like, or it feels like who's really being pushed out, the straight black man and the straight black community, the straight black family. Okay, propaganda, babe. Okay, yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to any of the rest of you that you go to a college. Now, New York City has what was it, about 12 million people. I forget, from 8 to 12 million people. You don't think in all those people that they don't have any straight black people literature to read? There are plenty of authors, right? But we didn't read any of them. It wasn't required reading. But reading James Baldwin is required reading. Now, nothing wrong with his literature. There's nothing about his literature that I have a complaint with. But that to assume that somebody was a particular thing, and then to realize they have him in there because he's a gay black male. And I think that the black community is being infiltrated to become that. But again, it's your business if you choose that lifestyle. But if someone is actually, I'm going to move the camera to the sunlight. If someone is choosing that lifestyle for you, you know, uh, that's a problem. That is a real problem. I have a yeah, it doesn't make sense. So isn't that social engineering? Isn't it? Someone is going to, um, so you go to the school system, and the men, and any black men who do go to college, they're going to read his literature and find out he's a gay man. They're going to support anybody who, only people that they seem to, that white America pays attention to is a gay man, gay black man. And so how could you then represent the black community? How? It's very confusing for me. And, excuse me, the area where I live, the the storefronts, it's a lot of restaurants. And most of the black, there's two type of black men where I live. The half square mile, not even a square mile, but a half of a square mile radius uh, along the shopping district. Two types of black men. You have the felon type, ones who have been in prison, and they live in the government-run hotels. And the other type is the homosexual. And they're getting very bold where I live. The gay black men are more bolder than the white gay men. Um, it's just really weird. So I wonder how come, as a to be a homosexual, and be a part of the homosexual community, that they accept so-called radicalism for the homosexual issues, but if it's a black issue, then we have to be all passive. It's just I'm just thinking. I'm just really thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud. It's really weird. I'm in my 50s, and I ask myself, um, where am I going to go in life? I can't like say, oh, I want to start a new community, you know. I can't have children. I'm way past the age of childbearing, so I can't have children. Um, let's say someone wants to foster or adopt, it'll probably have to be an older child, let's say a 15-year-old, something like that. By that age, that kid is already violated mentally. And how could you rehabilitate someone at that age? It's just my thought. I mean, it's something that could be done, but the amount and effort you have to do. I feel a lot of this stuff is social engineered. They like even Malcolm X. His father was murdered. They claim that it was probably an accident. He was run over by a street car, what do you call it, a train, and his body was nearly cut in half. Okay. Uh, he lived in Nebraska, and I don't understand. I don't understand a place like Nebraska. It doesn't have a lot of blacks there, so I was wondering why. Okay, Malcolm X was born in the 1920s. Why it was so? Why were blacks targeted so strongly in a place like Nebraska? It's not that many black people there. They didn't have slavery there. It wasn't. It wasn't. I don't even think part of the U.S. at that time. Um, so I don't understand where that came from. And they had Klan there, unless the Klan was strategically placed up there to prevent blacks from moving there, and that they wanted the blacks to go to the East Coast, the Northeast. I mean, it's just a speculation. Um, most people back in those days, in the 1920s, lived on farms. They were encouraging European um, people from Europe to come over to the Americas, and many Scandinavians, they moved to the Midwest, like Minnesota. You also had Germans that moved to Nebraska. So I could just speculate that that's what happened. They didn't want you to settle there. They wanted you to move into large cities, because in the cities they're going to create what they call the inner city slash ghetto, and it's going to be used to like your prison. So they didn't want you to live on your own farms, have your own food. They wanted you dependent on the system. So I'm disappointed with black organizations that haven't really gotten land, and just buy land as an organization, and populate it with a lot of people, but it's not happening. So I don't know whether some of these black organizations, are actually being used as a tool for the white organizations slash government to oppress, and that maybe they're all working in cahoots to have you live in the urban centers, not making your own, not planting your own food, not having your own medicine. You know what else I know? Yeah, medicine. I live in New York City. I live in a very densely populated city, but you cannot like I have 3 dogs. I don't know any black veterinarians. The ones that I have, I utilize 3. They're either Jewish, and then that one Filipino, and they both screwed up on my dog Lily. I'm angry that I'm not able to get. I mean, um, people have a choice what type of medical doctor or veterinarian, but I would like the choice um, that I could have a black doctor if I wanted one. If I wanted one. If you're Asian, you can get an Asian doctor. you wouldn't be perceived as being weird to say, you know, I would like a Chinese or Indian doctor. They'll feel very, oh, okay, we'll find one for you. Or let's say someone is an Orthodox Jew. Oh, I would like a Jewish doctor. No problem. But I had said earlier this year, I said I would like a black doctor. And they said, oh, well, we have so and so here. And I knew by the name of the person that that person was not from my background. And again, it's nothing wrong for not being from my background. But I specifically requested. And then the person said to me, well, you know, not everybody identifies with that term, a real nasty line. And I asked very respectfully. I said, there's nothing wrong with other races. I think everybody, I said, everybody's equal. But my preference is to find a person of my background for my doctor. It was a therapist. Well, they don't have it. And this was working, I mean, this was at the VA hospital. Now, most of the people that utilize that VA hospital, the mass majority of those people are black people. So I don't think it's weird or I should be make someone offended or feel defensive for me to request that. See that? Black people are being made to feel defensive if you request. And oh, you know, the person that I spoke to was a black person. I don't know whether she was born from the US. I'm not sure. I mean, they were pleasant, but for her to be so defensive and say it so nastily, I asked very respectfully, because I respect the people who work there, but I find that they don't respect the requests of black people. That is my experience there. Some are very, very nice, but God forbid you ask to have a black therapist or a black doctor, you're going to get opposition, and they don't really have it. And so I find that problematic to live in a big country like this, and you cannot, as a black American, get a doctor of your background, a black doctor. So I think this is done deliberate. I mean, I had a black doctor when I was what do you call a baby doctor? When I was like 6 years old, I had a black doctor. He was an American guy, and the dentist, a black dentist. But now, you don't have it. So it seems like the black movement of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, it was a step backwards after the whiplash. There are no doctors like that. But, you know, if you do get a doctor, they're oftentimes, especially for mental health, see, the homosexual community is really pushing this the gay agenda, in my opinion, by experience. Um, at the VA hospital, the black therapist, and I think she was the only black therapist there, she was a homosexual, and she was married to a woman. She was married to a white woman. Now I didn't know that until paths crossed last year, and she shared with me what, you know. Sorry, just look at the bike somebody. She shared with me, you know, about her life. So how could somebody? I mean, she was a nice therapist. She was a nice person, but part of how you doing? Part of her agenda, gay agenda, was starting to matter. Oh, really?
Two died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
More teeth, more teeth.
Okay. Take care. Someone was telling me that they had 5 dogs, but 2 of them passed away. So he has weights in his hand and he's lifted. Yeah. Yeah. So, this person, see the gay gender, in my opinion, have demonstrated that they're not upfront with their intention. It seems like with at least with the lesbians, that they always seem to want to talk about um, how to pleasure yourself sexually when you're alone. Now, I don't know why they have to always go there, or they use poetic words that mean that sentiment, and it made me uncomfortable. Um, it was in a group setting, and why is she talking this way? I was wondering. Well, I found out she's a lesbian. Lavin, come on, let's get here. Let's get here. Come on, come, come on. See that? Get him. That's it. Get him. Get him. See that? See that? You're on the camera. Come on. Okay, so you're gonna behave yourself. Yes, hello there. So again, so this person, it was a group of people. It was maybe 4 or 5 of us, and then she starts promoting. It just sounds freaky, you know. And none of us ever demonstrated freakiness, you know. Um, but again, people, you have, it's your business what you want to do behind closed doors. But when you go out your way to promote this kind of, I don't know, nastiness, and it doesn't sit well with me. Again, your orientation and what you do behind closed doors is your business. But I don't want to know it, whether you're straight or gay. I think things of that, when sexual practice, um, I'm very conservative, and I, I don't go out and tell, it's none of anybody's business. Some things one should just keep to themselves, and how you pleasure yourself is your business, and I don't want to hear it, okay? So she started using this terminology, and I knew, and I sensed what she was getting at. Again, I didn't hear talk like that before, but I just knew that it made me feel uncomfortable. And I had mentioned something back then. I was a Christian. I no longer practice or affiliated with Christianity. I have denounced that religion. But again, if a religion like such as Christianity serves you, then you serve it. So it's not an anti-Christian sentiment either. You serve what serves you. So I made I made a comment. Something. It was just a general comment, and then she gets angry at me and says, "Well, that's your belief, and you shouldn't be imposing blah 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 blah," which is true, but I wasn't imposing, and I was just sharing because again, it's a group thing, and we were to share. But hear this: it was okay for her to impose her sexual perversion, okay? And no one else there was part of that. The other people were Christian because she told me they were Christian. And she told me I should, contact so and so because she's the same religion as me. You have something in common, she said. You should go and maybe, go out. That's what she said prior to that meeting. So it's like they contradict themselves. One minute they want on the surface make you think that everything is inclusive, but they really are the haters. They're really not about inclusivity. Because if she was, it would have just been a comment, just like hers was a comment. Okay? So, yeah, it gets me angry when I think about it. And I knew how I felt after the incident. I said, wow, why? She was never like that on a one-on-one session, but now with this group thing. So start noticing if any of you have gone to a social worker, any type of mental health practitioner, find out. Hey, what is your life? What are you? Are they of the LGBTQ community? And I mean, if you are of that community, then there's no problem. But if you're not a member of the LGBTQ community and you want to talk to a therapist of some type or get advice, how will you be received if you ask for a straight person? Well, their real sentiment will come out. It will come out, and they're going to be very hostile. So if you ask for a black therapist, I didn't even say black straight therapist, I just said a black female therapist. And the response that I got was very negative. And they don't have it. They should just say, we don't have that. But maybe I could put a request for them to get someone for you. See, that would have been professional. So it's lack of professionalism when it comes to the need of straight black people wanting their own. So this has to be addressed in today's racial topic. No one's really talking about it. We have doctors, but no doctors that look like you. Everybody's from somewhere else. And no, this is not an anti-foreign rant either. You go to China, believe me, you're going to probably find a Chinese doctor. But when you're in the black ghetto or black neighborhood, you don't have black doctors. You have other. Or they may get doctors from what they call Latin America. But a lot of people from Latin America, that they're not really standing behind the non-Hispanic black community. They're there if there's a handout, but they're not there to support you as having common roots in the black experience. So, anybody else have any questions or thoughts about what I'm talking about? I know I'm saying a lot of things. Yeah, so we still have people in the chat, who are viewing. Yeah, I mean, these are real concerns that I have, and I hope that that it gets addressed. So again, I guess in a recap, I started this stream with something that happened with the concierge that I needed him to open the door for me because my hands are full, and he's looking at that I have a carriage and I need to get out, but he says, "Oh, what can I do for you?" I said, "If you could please open the door for me." "Oh, well, I was going to open the door for you. So why would you need to ask?" That was the first thing I talked about. And then the last thing, based on what I'm talking about, is the Malcolm X's speeches and how relevant his speech about the ballot or the bullet, and it applies for today. Everything. You have the liberals, what they call the white liberals, and that they may want to march with you for desegregation, but so what Malcolm said, when you move in, they move out. And when he mentioned that, I started laughing because of how true. And that was the situation where my parents moved to. Our parents moved out of the project. Yeah, I was born in the projects in Far Rockaway. I lived there up to the age of 4.5. I was a little older than 4.5, and then we moved to a very residential, private houses neighborhood, and it used to be a white neighborhood, and by the time we moved in, it was mostly black. The house that my parents bought from was a white doctor, and he moved to Long Island, New York. And one of the next door neighbors was a white woman. She was very nice. And then neighbors across the street, they were a white family. You know, these were older people too. This was an older community, and people, died off, and then it turned black. So it's interesting that the white liberals, that you think that once you move in, that is going to be like a utopia, that you have what they have, but you do not. I see that the white community, as such, uh, talks a game, but they don't want to share anything with you. They don't want to share. And that's also what I noticed. They want you to think that they care, but they don't want to change um, what they have. So I think it, you just have to um, be aware, be conscious of their motive, and if they befriend you, why they befriended you. Are they befriending you because they want to um, compromise you? Do they want to find out what you know? Why? So these are just some of the concerns I have in this dialogue with what's really going on. So I really can't think of anything else. So that's basically what I talked about with Malcolm X, and what he said 57 years ago applies today now, and it's just as fresh. So be careful who you have in your organizations, uh, because it can compromise you. Okay, so yeah, so thank you again for listening, folks. I can't think of anything else, and I don't want to get too long here. And I want to enjoy the rest of my Sunday morning. Oh, let me show what it looks like out here. Isn't it nice? It's really, really nice out here. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm just going to relax and take it easy right now. I thank you all for sharing your knowledge on certain subjects, and yeah, each one teach one, and yeah, be in the know, ask questions, and observe. So again, I thank you again. Peace and love to you. Be safe. Bye bye.